Our next speaker this morning is Patti Rydlun. We're pleased to have Patti Rydlun with us today at the Massachusetts Women in Power Convention. She wants to give us her perspective on how we can rally against another ism, ageism. The time is
10 to 12.
10 to 12 minutes. Please help me welcome Patti to the lecture.
How many people here are looking forward to getting older? Okay. Some of us are, some of us aren't. So it's interesting because studies tell us that the happiest times in our lives are when we're young and when we're older. It's that middle time that's a struggle. We're trying to get our careers in place, we're trying to raise a family, we're trying to figure out where we're going to live, we're going to buy a house, whatever that is, that's all in the middle. And luckily, ageism swings both ways, for the young and for the old. So when I say ageism, who can tell me what that means, ageism? Callie?
It's a form of discrimination based on someone's age.
Correct. Excellent. Unfortunately, today, ageism is more centered on people who are getting older. Now, what would your greatest fear be about getting older?
Money.
Money? Phil?
Health.
Health? Callie, try and project.
Okay. Probably, I don't know, ageism?
Okay, great.
I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head. So.
Excellent. Well, when my dad was in the hospital and I was going to visit him, there was a former neighbor of my aunt's, and she was out in the hall, and she was in a wheelchair, and she was strapped in. She was mumbling to herself, and she was drooling, didn't know who anyone was, and I was heartbroken. Heartbroken for her, but I was heartbroken for myself because my dad had Alzheimer's. I see this woman there, she's drooling, she doesn't know anything about what's going on, and my fear is that I don't want to be like that. I don't want to end up in a nursing home. But what I learned by doing this research for this speech is that only 4% of the older population actually lives in a nursing home. 90% of older people are pretty good about remembering things. So it's more the anxiety that people have about getting older that causes their worry and their concern and their fear. And that's what I'm committed to, that we look at age and take away the discrimination about age. You know, I can think about the conversations that we have, and sometimes we'll say, oh, I forgot that. But it's interesting because when I am out with my nieces and nephews who are in their late 30s and early 40s, they too say, oh, I forgot about that, or I can't find my keys. And I don't say to them, oh, you're having a junior moment. So there are 3 places I would like us to look at today about ageism. And it's our mindset, it's the culture we live in, and it's the humanitarianism. So if we think about our mindset, and someone at my age has been ingrained with this mindset over a longer period of time, you know, your golden years aren't as gold as they think they are, as they say they are. You know, older. My father used to have an expression after he retired that in Polish, he was actually just, the translation is, older doesn't mean it's better. Because I was like, Dad, what are you saying? And older is in Polish, he would say. But, so we grow up with those thoughts, instead of saying, guess what? When we're older, we're free from so many of those worries we have when we're trying to figure out our career, when we're trying to figure out the best education to have to get that career, and how I can make money so I don't have to worry about money. And yes, there are some older people who still have to worry about money, but the majority of people can get by on what they have, some of them better than others. So we want to really think about our mindset and how we regard people who are older. You know, I've been out at a store where somebody says, "Oh, sweetie." And I'm like, I wouldn't say that to my 40-year-old niece, "Oh, sweetie," when we're out in the store. But the thing is, studies actually show that elders speak like that causes people to almost immediately fold up and not be as alert and outgoing and quick thinking as they were originally. Just those some simple words about putting them in a class that they're not as vibrant. Whereas somebody who is older and doesn't hear that or doesn't even adapt or listen to that, they're more vibrant, they're bright, they're sparkling, they're full of energy. And that's the picture I want people to have about people who are over 60 or over 70. And you know, why are we in this category from like 55 to 105? We don't put the millennials or all those people in a class, "Oh, look at it's those 20 to 60-year-olds that are starting trouble." And are the tech industries, are all these new companies better off because they have millennials or young people? Or are they doing well in spite of the younger people or the millennials? Or shouldn't it be a diversity? A diversity in companies, that you have experience and people who want to learn new things. But this mindset we have, "Oh, they're older, they can't do any technology, they can't learn anything." Not true. So I think we need to look at our mindsets about any isms, whether it's ageism, whether it's sexism, whether it's, I mean, you can't even look at genders in a binary fashion, because it used to be male and female, now it's transgender, everything is changing. Whether it's homophobia, the isms, we need to change our mindset about all those things. And then if we look at the culture, there was a Barron's magazine newspaper, and on the cover, they say the graying of America. So yes, they had Uncle Sam in his hat and red, white, and blue outfit, but then they put him with a cane and stooped over on the cover. So what image is that giving to everyone who's reading that newspaper, as opposed to having someone who's vibrant and energetic? So we really want to look at what culture is doing to the younger people, to all of us, so that whether they're young or old, it's just who are you as a person that makes the difference. And then we have being the humanitarian. I read a great article about Stoicism, and the author starts out by saying, you know, I'm human, and you're human, and you're human, and you're human. So who is one human being to judge another human being, to say who they're going to be, or how they're going to act, or put them in that proverbial box, instead of thinking, wow, I'm going to look at that person just for who they are, because that's what I want people to do and say about me. And what are we missing out in the world by not using the unprecedented knowledge and experience that older people have and can contribute. And you know, if you're a woman, it's against you times 2, right? Not only is it ageism, it's sexism, and if you're a woman of color, it's times 3. They have all these statistics that show the poorest people in the world are black women, and that includes the whole world, continents. So what a testimony that we're not being human to each other and helping each other and getting rid of these isms, racism, sexism, ageism, all of them. And stop doing the othering. So when I say othering, I mean that other religion, that other race, that other ethnic group. And think that we're all one together. And because of our age, you know, we can look and say, oh, the women are going to do this, and the men are going to do this, and the transgenders are going to do this, and the gay men, and all these different people are going to do their own thing, but there's one thing that unifies us. We're all getting older. So why don't we have this united advocacy that we change the way we look at people and treat people who are getting older? That's my challenge to all of you, that we are on this united front, this united advocacy.
Bravo! More! We want more!
I'm glad it's on tape there.